Thank you. It's a great honor and privilege to be asked to introduce you, Madam President. You and I go back a long ways in your years at Harvard School of Government, the Kennedy School. I have watched you, back from those days, go through Equator Bank, UNDP, World Bank, and I've always watched you make strategic moves. And so it is no wonder to me that now you are the only and the first ever freely elected female president on the African continent. You are also the first female chair of the ECOWAS, which is a big, big, big thing. You are a Nobel laureate, which is exceptional. I feel, having watched you for so long, that even though you are near the end of your term, you are restless for the future. You feel your work is not yet done. So, Madam President, I welcome you to this evening's function. Thank you.
Good evening to all. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you, Nick, for your kind introduction. I would like to recognize the African American Institute, its leadership, staff, the chairman of the board, Kofi Appenteng, and the organizers of tonight's event. Many of you are good friends who've been with me on this long life's journey, and it's so good to see you here and to reconnect with you tonight. Dorothy Davis, for the work that they have done over the past 60 years in building human capacity to meet the skill demands for the next generation of job seekers and job creators. My history with the African American Institute goes back to the early 1990s under the tenure of my friend and former president of AAI, Vivian Lewitt-Derrick. We just met this evening. AAI was instrumental in keeping the focus of United States policymakers on Liberia through the organization called Liberia Watch. The last time I was with AAI was in 2012, and I was recognized by the institution along with Dr. Joyce Banda, then president of Malawi, as one of the 2 women presidents on the continent, an honor I will always treasure. Today, 6 years later, there's still only 2 of us on the continent, myself and Prime Minister of Mauritius, Amana Gurib. So we had a lot of work to do. My tenure will be coming to an end. I'm gladly going to accept the constitutional restriction. But that means we're going to have a lot of work to do to make sure that we don't return to the status quo. So we're looking to see who's going to be the one that takes the courage to move on. Many heroes have come to Liberia before. Much has happened since 2012, including the deadly Ebola virus that attacked our country and the sub-region. It was one of the most difficult challenges that I have ever had to face as a leader. A terrifying experience for a fearful people, for an enemy they did not know, they could not see, they could not hear, they could not understand. Tens of thousands of our loved ones died, and it took a great toll on our economy, enabling us to stop in our tracks and look back as we saw our growth plummeted to almost zero. Today, more than 1 year later, we are trying to revive economically. And we've now passed the horror of this disease. A more resilient health system is being created around the country. And as I said, there were many heroes during this experience. First heroes, of course, the Liberian people and the resilience and the courage they had to take responsibility to save their lives and their livelihoods. There were many others that came to our aid: international organizations, the UN system, bilateral, multilateral donors, World Bank, President Obama, whom I spoke to personally and who really took the charge and led the response of the United States. But today, we're here to focus on another hero, a hero that really was not a part of our own journey, but one who came in 2012 in the interest of business that we had attempted to attract, to cultivate, to create the partnership with. And soon after, Chevron began its exploration program. In our early meetings, Ali said to me, Chevron wants to change the model of social investing in the countries in which it operates. One of Liberia's private sector development partners, he's one that just came in and said, we want to make sure that what we do, whatever we do in this country with all of our partners, we want to make sure that we help to make a change that will affect the lives of people. What Chevron has done for Liberia is really exceptional. Yes, he came to do business. Yes, he came to explore. But he has also started the kind of support and assistance that is making a difference. Under Chevron, Liberia's economic development program has executed 80 social development projects implemented by 59 national and international social development partners, benefits that are reaching nationwide. When Ebola hit, many left the country out of fear. Many of our own citizens left. Many of the corporations that were operating there closed down. Their employees left. Chevron stepped in. Under the leadership of Chevron's country manager, Carl Cottrell, clearly, under the guidance of Ali Moshiri, Chevron played a leadership role in supporting the mobilization of the private sector in establishing what was called the Ebola Private Sector Mobilization Group. That was a difference. In the midst of a terrifying disease, in the midst of fear, Chevron was able to work with other private sector to be the catalyst that brought them together to establish this group. And they did so to enable them to mobilize the support, joining the other partners that was working on this. When Ebola was thankfully defeated, Chevron continued to lead, looking at ways to ensure that diseases like Ebola would never return. I'm proud to announce that just this month, USAID Global Development Alliance finalized a decision to co-invest with Chevron to rebuild an infectious disease center at the John F. Kennedy Hospital in Monrovia. This, in so doing, they mention that this was being done to the memory of two of our doctors who died, Dr. Brisbane, Dr. Bubba, during the height of the Ebola disease because of the lack of a proper system to fight infection. The Infection Disease Center will be a front line to protect Liberia, to train Liberians to be protectors of their health and the health of their communities. I would like to ask everyone to take a moment to commemorate those who have given their lives in the face of Ebola, and those who courageously fought this terrifying disease, and those who gave the support that enabled us to beat it. Please take a moment to their memory. Please sit. Thank you. In closing, I'd like to say that Ali Moshiri has never wavered in his support for the people of Liberia. Ali and his Chevron team produced that leadership in bringing together and forging public-private partnerships during our crisis. As we know, it is during time of adversity when people are tested, when the true character of people are demonstrated. I can think of no one in the private sector in our time of adversity that came forward and took the courage to make a difference, took the courage to take on fear and to mobilize people, to save lives and to save the livelihoods of the Liberian people. Ali, where are you? On behalf of the Liberian people, on behalf of all those, not only those who suffered and who died, but those who now live to be able to benefit from that which you have done, for your courage, for your leadership, for what you have demonstrated in friendship and in partnership to the Liberian people. I thank you on their behalf. Thank you very much. In Liberia, we say the man good, yeah.
I want to make a couple of comments in here. This is a great honor, especially receiving from one of the strongest leaders globally and in Africa. Madam President, you're a dear friend to me, to my family. You're always going to be in my heart. Liberia is always in my heart. And I want to thank you, AAI. Also, I want to thank Chevron and 56,000 Chevron employees that continue to support the social responsibility globally, especially in Africa. Thank you very much.
Ali is a very good man. I count ourselves lucky to have a man like Ali who understands our aspirations here in Nigeria and indeed elsewhere in Africa.
Well, our relationship with Ali Moshiri has been a long one. He particularly has a passion for looking at holistically the relationship with the various partners, but particularly with NNPC, going beyond the normal formal relationships to be able to look at what could he do to the community in which he serves.
That passion has translated not just to funding for our programs, but also to true partnership around the development of those programs to expand healthcare in Angola and other countries across Africa as well.
I can say one of his major legacies is capacity development. And he extends that also to the communities in which they operate by supporting education and others programs in that line.
I work very closely with him, both in Nigeria and elsewhere in Africa. They gave scholarship. They ensure that scholarship is given to communities, children and men and women from the communities where they operate, and indeed generally in Nigeria. And particularly the scholarship in the area of STEM.
I think that Chevron's commitment to being a good corporate citizen in all of the locations in which it works is highly commendable. And that takes leadership, and Ali has provided that. His passion is palpable when you're in the room with him and you hear him talk about health care and the environment and other matters that are impacting African children and families. It's clear that he has a real passion about making life better for people in the locales in which Chevron is working.
Ali Moshiri is somebody who identifies with the Nigerian people and also with the various communities in which Chevron operates.
Ali ensured that our policy of local content is well understood and well subscribed to by Chevron and subsidiaries of Chevron.
Within the Chevron system, he's focused on developing Nigerians to take prominent and leadership positions within the joint venture operations and also some of the production sharing contracts that they manage. If you develop capacity, you also empower people to do more. So I congratulate him and also say that he should keep doing the good works he's doing in terms of building people.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have worked with him and benefited from his talents and his skills. He's made me better as a leader. He's made our organization better. He's been a true partner every step of the way. We would not be what we are today without Ali Moshiri, and so When the history of BPI, the Baylor International Pediatric AIDS Initiative, is written, Ali will occupy a very important place.
Ali deserves all the honor that he could be accorded for his work in Africa and indeed in Nigeria.